You're watching the Coaches Roundtable on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Welcome to Coaches Roundtable. I'm Ed Codi. Welcome our guests from Slippery Rock High School, multiple sports stars. To my immediate right, Marianne Ackerman, and to her right, Anna Kadlubi. Girls, congratulations on outstanding careers. Thanks for joining us. And just let me go back and look at your resumes. Marianne, 4 letters in basketball and track, 1 in golf, 2-time district champ in a javelin, MVP at the Butler and Pine Richland Track Invitationals, first team all-region in basketball, school record in javelin, gold medal PIAA 2021 in the javelin, Butler County Track and Field Honor Roll, you're first in the javelin, second in the discus, second in the shot, and headed to Oregon State. We're going to talk about that for track and field. And Anna, 4 letters in basketball, 4 letters in track, 1 in soccer, over 1,000 career points in basketball, District 10 Region Basketball Player of the Year, school records in the 200 and 4x100 relay, District 10 champ 400 and 400 relay, PIAA track 5th in the 100, 4th in the 200, and Butler County Track and Field Honor Roll, you're first in the 100 meters, first in the 200, 5th in the 400 meters, and your 400 meter relay team you anchored. You were second, and you're headed to IUP for basketball. What outstanding resumes you girls have. Let me ask you first, Marianne, how'd you get your start in athletics?
It was just when I was younger, really. You know, I think my older brother did. I think he did baseball, and then that kind of threw me into baseball as well. And my dad coached me up through. I think I played till 8th grade, and then, you know, I think in middle school I started, you know, playing basketball too, and then I made the switch to track, and obviously still played basketball.
And when you got into track, all those field events, how did you actually get involved in it? Did someone say, I think you can, did you know what you could do or have any idea?
No, I didn't really have any idea. In middle school, I actually ran. I ran like the 400 and I think some relays, but someone told me along the lines in between middle school and high school that I would probably be good at throwing. So I took it up, and you know. So.
And your javelin, you're outstanding. What's your best was what, 147 feet?
Yeah, it's 6 inches.
And that's what you did at the state,
yep.
Or that's what you did in the region?
That's what I did at states, actually.
How was the competition there? Did you know who you were facing when you went to the state?
Yeah, I did. I definitely had a pretty big advantage. I think going into the meet, I was seated like 5 or 6 feet ahead of everyone, so I kind of recognized my competition. I obviously pay attention to it throughout the year, but the girl that was seated second is also in District 10, so I got to face up against her at districts. So I definitely knew the competition, but they all threw very well that day. So.
And how'd you squeeze golf into the picture?
I don't know. I never did a fall sport, I guess, and then this year I decided that.
What was your best round in golf?
Not very super good. Probably around a 95 or 96 or something. I don't know.
All right, Oregon State, clear across the country. How did this come about? How did they hear about you and come here? I'm sure you were recruited by some of the area schools that would be interested.
Yeah, I did talk to quite a few schools, but I liked the one program at Oregon State, and I kind of just thought it'd be more important to focus on academics too. Obviously, Oregon State I fit in very well athletically too. So it's just
we've had a number, of course. Jordan Geis been out there at Arizona, and the kid from North Allegheny who was there for a year before he transferred to the University of Michigan. So they know well about this area, and you're going to concentrate just on track and your field events.
Yeah, just javelin actually.
And major in?
Majoring in forestry.
Forestry.
Yeah.
That's a good area. You might as well. Sounds like you're going to stay out there.
Yeah.
When
maybe.
you're finished.
Yeah.
Anna, 4 letters in basketball, over 1,000 career points, and 4 in track, and then you squeezed soccer into the picture last year. District 10 Region Basketball Player of the Year. And how did you get started? I know your brother ran track. Didn't your mom run track in high
Yes.
school too?
Yeah, my whole family, they did, my dad did basketball, he ran, Sarah, my sister, and then Brady, my brother, they both did basketball and track. So I kind of watched them grow up with sports and go into their games, and it made me interested, and I wanted to try it out.
And you're all fast. You're fast. Your brother was, your mom was fast, and you outscored your dad in basketball,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I did.
You let him know about that. Which stands out? I know you're going to IUP to play basketball, but how hard is it for you to step away from track? You're so good at it.
Yeah, it was definitely a hard decision. I mean, I looked at schools to do both or just track, but basketball kind of had more like the team feel, and I wanted to go more that route. And especially with the coach, he's amazing, and I kind of just felt comfortable and I fit in there.
Did you have any discussion with him about the possibility of track, or
A
hard to
little
fit
bit.
in? You can't do indoor, right?
No. I talked about it a little bit, but not really. I haven't really discussed it. I'd probably rather just do one in general, but I mean, it could be an option.
And you're going to one of the premier basketball programs
Yeah.
in the country at that level. What position will you play there?
I'll just be a guard. Yeah. So in high school I was point guard, but they have point guard, so I'll just be a regular guard and see how
And
it
you will
goes.
major in?
Exercise science.
Okay. And looking for a career possibly in?
Cardiac rehab.
Oh, all right. So you will be going to maybe a graduate school
Yeah.
program after for that. Let me ask both of you girls this. Where's your motivation come from and your inspiration to compete?
I don't know. I think for me, I get a lot of it from my friends and just the overall town. We live in a pretty small town. It's always nice to, make history and do fun things like that. So.
Yeah, and we're definitely both very competitive, and we wanna
Yeah.
win
You have to
anything.
be.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
compete like you don't golf.
No, I don't. I should have.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're both dedicated to sports, and we want to show off our talents. I mean, we were given them, so let's show them off a little bit.
Yeah. Not only that, but you're being outstanding students. You're competitive in the classroom. Two, any particular role models that you look at helped you with your inspiration?
I definitely think Coach Rhodes.
Yeah.
I think her name is Melinda Rhodes. She was an Olympian earlier in her life, and I think she coached us in middle school.
Yeah.
And she always has a lot of really cool stories. And then I think our head track coach, Tom Melling, he's also a good role model for us.
So when you look back now, your career's over, and you look back and it's like over so fast it seems like it's a blur. What do you take from your high school careers, Anna?
Definitely living in the moment, especially with COVID. We lost our junior year, and just doing your best, really. I mean, you want to succeed as much as you want, and succeed in all your goals, and just have fun with it too.
I definitely think I could take away that I can do, anything I really put my mind to, because I've definitely got a lot better throughout high school at my sports, so just knowing that I can do things.
And competing like that is giving you confidence that you can continue this, and confidence in other areas in your life also.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, girls, congratulations. Brilliant careers, outstanding. You've made our weekly spotlight for like the last 3 or 4 years. You're going to leave a void there. Congratulations to you. Would like to follow up on your careers. You at Oregon State, Marianne, and Anna, you at IUP. Thanks for joining us, and good luck to you in your college careers.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. I'll be right back with Alan George.
High school sports, community events, all of your favorite local shows are calling the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel their home. Find out everything your neighborhood has to offer on Channel 100 or on YouTube. Spirit, town pride, local communities. This is the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel.
I'm back, joined to my right by the Swami George Abraham, to my left the Tiger Albert Campman. It's not as pretty a set as it was before, but guys, those two girls from Slippery Rock High School, great careers they had, 9 varsity letters, all-stars in basketball, and track. Marianne Ackerman going to Oregon State, and Anna Kadlubik, who can compete in track if she wanted to, but she's going to be in basketball at IUP. Just great careers for both of them.
Well, their names have come up many times on our show.
Yeah, Spotlight. They were regulars.
Regular girls that, and they've improved also. So I like that. Two things they've stayed away all the way, and they got better. That's what you want.
Before we get started, I want to mention boxing is back at the Butler Cobbs Saturday, June the 12th. We will be there with Armstrong Cable to bring you all of those bouts. It's one of our favorite sporting events of the year. On the Spotlight, boys lacrosse, PIAA 2A quarterfinals, Morris 14, Camp Hill Trinity 9, Nicholas Crowley 5 goals, Wes Scurry and Jack Dunham 3 goals each. And then in the first round, Mars defeated Hershey 12-0. Crowley, Scurry, and Austin Coate each had 3 goals. Next up for Mars, 20-0, they will be in the semis versus Bishop Shanahan. And in the 3A quarterfinals, Conestoga 8, North Allegheny 3. North Allegheny finishes 12-5. Girls lacrosse, PIAA, first round, Mars 15, Conneaut 7. Freshman McKenna Merritt had 6 goals. In the quarterfinals, Strathaven 21, Mars 8. Mars finishes 17-3. In volleyball, PIAA 2A, first round, North Catholic 3, West Shamokin 0. Andrew Eubinger had 13 kills, Richard Kaminsky 18 assists. And then in the quarterfinals, powerful Meadville 3, North Catholic 0. Andrew Eubinger had 13 kills and 10 blocks. North Catholic finishes 18-4. Meadville 18-0. They're the defending 2A champs from 2019.
Yeah, excellent team. They've had pretty good volleyball there for a while. I just think about how much bigger the one school was than the other. It's one of the few sports where that happens.
Yes, it does.
Much bigger.
Because there aren't as many classifications as a result. 3A volleyball quarterfinals, North Allegheny 3, Northeastern 0. David Sanfilippo, 13 kills and 6 blocks. Caleb Shaw had 36 assists. North Allegheny 22-0, 63 straight wins. Next up, the semifinals against who? Seneca Valley. Seneca Valley first round defeated McDowell 3-0. J.P. McCarthy had 10 kills. And in the quarterfinals, Seneca Valley 3, Upper Dublin 1, Coleman McDonough 34 digs, and Michael Devlin 15 kills. Seneca Valley 19-3, and then they meet for the 4th time this season.
If ever there was a time for an upset, this is it.
And there was a battle in the
Seneca Valley
championship.
took them down last time, really close. And they need to make about 7 or 8 big plays in these games, and they can beat North Allegheny.
That was the first set that they lost all year, North
Yeah,
Allegheny against Seneca Valley. So this ought to be a great volleyball match. Baseball, WPL Championship 4A, Newcastle 5, Montour 0. Rocco Bernardina, complete game, one-hitter, shutout with 14 strikeouts. He struck out 11 in the last 12 batters he faced. For Newcastle, 14-9, it was their first ever WPIAL baseball title. And then in the first round of the PIAA, the Canes 14, Harbor Creek 3. No details available. Next up, quarterfinals versus Easton York. What a baseball season for the Red Hurricanes.
Yeah, their fans are out. I'll say one thing about that guy.
They come, don't they?
Come, yes.
I mean, to go along with their football and basketball, first ever WPL championship
They better get the
baseball.
car gassed up playing the York team. That's going to be somewhere around Chambersburg, I imagine. I have no idea.
Yeah, and I think Miller, their other star going to Notre Dame, will be pitching in that game.
That's the big thing, that second pitcher on the Thursday.
And they have them.
Seems
See what happens. In the 6A WPL Championship, North Allegheny 4, Hempfield 0. Pitcher Kyle Demme, 6 shutout innings, 11 strikeouts. Shortstop Cole Young, a Duke recruit, had 2 RBIs. Spencer Barnett, a solo home run. For North Allegheny, 20-3. This was their 8th WPL title, breaking a 3-way tie with McKeesport, who won their last title in '63, and Allegheny won their last title in 1922. So that shows you how dominant North Allegheny's been with their 8 titles.
In about 9 sports.
Yeah,
They've been dominant.
And also, they've been runner-up about 4 times in baseball, too. Now, for North Allegheny in the PIAA first round, they beat Warwick 13-4. Joe Manisotis, Aaron Posey, and Cole Young, all 3 for 4. Danny Gallen had 3 RBI. Next up for North Allegheny. They will take on Philly Central in the quarterfinals. And PIAA 2A softball, Montauk ends their season losing to Union City 9-0. They finished 13-7. And Lernerville is back underway. Ryan Smith won the Speed Week Sprint feature, and he picked up a check for $3,000. And honors, we know this gentleman, former Karn City Athletic Director Tom Wagner, inducted in the Pennsylvania State Athletic Directors Hall of Fame. Very deserving. Always good and gracious with us.
So that's what you go by. He treated us
Yeah, great.
first class. Couldn't be any better.
Make sure we had something to eat.
Absolutely.
Gave us T-shirts.
Absolutely.
Outstanding.
And besides the graciousness, he was outstanding AD.
Yes.
Outstanding.
Great-
I'm talking about
great
their
job.
sports. Their sports flourished under him, and he had a way of selecting the right way to do it and the right time to do it. It was
Set
it was
the
awesome.
tone for that program.
Yes.
Our stories of the week. Pine Ridge hires Seneca Valley assistant coach Steve Campos as their new head coach, a salary of $10,000. Campos has been Seneca Valley's quarterback coach the last 7 seasons. He was the head coach at Ringgold for 1 year, 2006, 3-7, and then head coach at Bethany College from 93 to 201, where he posted a record of 40-47. Mark your calendar, Pine Ridge at Seneca Valley, September the 3rd. You know, I've heard comments. The only thing I would say this about Coach Campos, he did nothing wrong. The job was open. He applied for it. He got it. Now it's his job to build trust with these players and show them that he could be their leader.
I applaud him.
Yes.
That that he had the insides to say, I'm the guy for this job. And I saw interviews with the players already that he's met with. They were very happy with him. So I will root very hard for Steve Campos.
The bottom line, the kids want to play.
Yeah, and he saw an opportunity and he applied for it. He did nothing wrong.
Yeah, I think the only difficult thing, can he get 8 or 10 coaches in line? Are there enough coaches around that he could pull in
He has
and help them out?
he has a network that he can get it done. That's
he's been
I've
around.
already talked to a couple people that he's talked to that are thinking about
Bring
coaching
a couple
him.
with him maybe from
Yeah,
Seneca
yeah.
even if he does.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, no doubt.
And Coach, if you're listening, I'm offering you an invitation. Love to have you on the show, but that ought to be an interesting game when Pine Richards at Seneca Valley, September the 3rd.
Yeah, it will be. That's no doubt.
Major League Baseball, the Pirates take 3 out of 4 from Miami. Adam Frazier just having a great year, hitting a .332. Brian Hazy comes back. He's .348. He hits a home run on Friday night. And David Bednar of Mars having a great year, 21 innings, 29 Ks with a 2.91 ERA. I was at Friday night's game, and just look at that ballpark, how beautiful it is,
beautiful.
and just say, wish the team would just be so much better. When that's lit up at night, it's as nice an environment as you'll find anywhere in baseball. But that night, the Marlins put 7 pitchers on the mound. The Pirates put 4 on there. And then Saturday night's 8-7, when the Marlins brought out 8 more pitchers, the Pirates 6 more. I think Mattingly lost about 7 pounds with his mound trips. There were 3 or 4 innings in a row. It was one pitcher after the other. And Major League Baseball batting average is down to .236 through May the 31st. How about this, guys? One more no-hitter, and it ties the Major League Baseball record of 8 in 1884, which was the dead ball era.
George and I have talked immensely about this, that every guy's on the end of the bat, every guy's swinging for the fences, and we don't mind 3 and 4 doing it when you're in the lineup, but not 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, all trying to hit home runs. It's an epidemic that I don't like.
There's no plan B. Like even Charles Barkley, I was talking about this team that's missed like 17 threes at halftime. Maybe you need to go inside a little bit. You know, these guys, you're hitting 147 down on the end. Maybe you move up in there, slap the ball a few times. They don't do it.
I agree. And, look around baseball, you look at Oakland and that they're winning, and Tampa Bay. And by the way, Austin Meadows, what a year he's having, 14 homers, almost 50 RBI. And you wonder, maybe should the Pirates take a look at someone out of those organizations? How are those markets, which are very similar, identical to the Pirates, how are they doing it, and year after year?
Well, that is what they're doing. They went and copied Tampa Bay. They put all their eggs in this Altoona team, and the team that's coming up. We'll see if it works, but that's what they've done.
Well, elsewhere in baseball, Chicago White Sox manager Tony La Russa with a 3-0 win over Detroit on Sunday, moves into second place all-time with 2,764 wins, moving past Hall of Fame coach John McGraw. He's number one all-time. He's behind Connie Mack with 3,731 victories. What do you guys make of LaRusso's accomplishments?
He's an outstanding baseball mind. He's always done some things ahead of the other managers, but his time with Canseco and McGuire still bothers me. That he knew the whole time was going on, counted wins more than integrity. That's not what I want.
First ballot Hall of Famer?
Yeah, he has the reputation. Not if I was voting.
Right.
But he has the reputation.
Yeah, he rubs a lot of people the wrong
2,700
way.
wins. I mean,
He's got his first ballot for sure.
Yeah,
2,700 wins. I mean, think about that.
And while we're at it, Hall of Fame voting, I'm still going to talking about managers. I still don't understand why Danny Murtaugh's not in there. Look at his record: 2 World Series championships. DeRocher's in there with 1. Earl Weaver with 1, I believe. I still don't understand why Murtaugh's not in there.
We've said that on this show before. That all three of us agree that if a guy has 2 World Series championships, there's no
Should
reason
be
why
auto.
An
should be in
outstanding team. So many division championships
Oh,
too.
absolutely. No, he deserves to be in there. Especially in football, they let Tom Flores in. He was the one, I think, coach that had 2 that wasn't in. He just got in.
I think Murtaugh only had 1 losing season as a power
I didn't know
manager.
that. I don't know that.
Yeah,
That's
1.
amazing.
It's
pretty amazing, yeah.
remarkable.
Yeah, sure.
Guys, something's going on. Fans gone ugly in the NBA, spitting on a player. I can't imagine any fan doing that. You go to a game, you have a right to boo, to whatever you want to do, yell, but to spit on a player and then throwing a full ball of water, a missile at a player's head, and then Michael Westbrook was pelted with popcorn. He wanted to go after the fan. They had to restrain him. And then in Major League Baseball, I watched this. These women engaged in a brawl and fisticuffs. Some observers said the women had more hits than the team did. What is going on?
Well, Russell Westbrook, there's no possible excuse. I saw one last night. Add soccer to the list. It was outdoors, so that thing probably came from a distance away. Mexico and U.S. were playing, and it was right at the end, and somebody sailed one down from, probably pretty high up.
Yeah, you throw anything. You throw a box of popcorn in the corner of the box, hit you in the eye, the injuries. I just have we seen this kind of I know there have been skirmishes before at games, especially in Philadelphia. That's why they had a court underneath the stadium. But this is getting ugly. The attacks
that's the
on
word.
players.
It's ugly. It becomes personal. I don't grasp it, but I always think that it's alcohol induced. I think when they're drinking at that game, they say and do things. I've had people behind me think, "Ooh, can you believe what they're saying?" And
Do we ever see
usually they're drinking.
2 women duking it out at a game?
No, it's crazy.
In the NFL, the Atlanta Falcons trade 7-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Julio Jones to Tennessee. They get a second-round pick in 22 and a fourth in 23. Tennessee also gets Atlanta's 6th-round pick in 23. Will Julio Jones help Tennessee?
Well, Julio Jones is an elite receiver. Can he stay on the field is the question. And if he stays healthy, Tennessee will be a juggernaut on offense. Are they good enough defensively to win it all? We'll find out.
I looked that up. He doesn't miss as much as I thought he missed. I thought he missed a lot more time than he does. But as Al said, they got to still stop you.
Yeah, now you got Derrick Henry, and this helps Ryan Tannehill, especially with the play action. This gives them a deep threat. They have a good tight end and another good receiver. This complements their offense. But Albert, I agree with you. Their defense against the run was terrible last year.
Yeah, there's 2 sides to the ball, 3 sides. There's special teams also, but they're going to score points. When you got Brown and you got Jones on the outside, and you got Henry running the bat football, that's a pretty dominating offense.
Sounds like it on paper, at least.
Yes, I thought for sure that he was going to go to another team besides Tennessee. I thought maybe the Rams were going to pluck him up to add to their offense.
Well, nobody wants to offer any draft picks, and when they got a number 2, think of that. They were excited to get a number 2. You're thinking Julio Jones, one of the top 5 receivers in football.
Yeah, that's
deserves
right.
number 1.
He didn't go. They didn't get a first round.
No.
In other news, not good news, Tunchi Oakland steps away from the Steelers broadcast booth to deal with ALS, and the Steelers are doing everything they help him. One thing about the Steelers and Kevin Colbert and the ownership, like they did with Ryan Shazier, they step up and help their players, and I hope they help Ilkin as much as possible, and hope he finds some help dealing with ALS, but he has to step away from the broadcast booth.
Well, he said he enjoyed working with the Hall of Fame announcers that he worked with. The team has always done that. That's why people like coming to the Steelers and playing, because they do take care of their players. But our prayers are with that. That ALS, I've seen a couple of my friends die from that. And boy,
so many football players.
It's a scary thing.
That Gleason from the Saints.
Yes.
You see the pictures, and how that
deterioration. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
What, wasn't it Dwight Clark too, the 49ers?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So many football players. Horse racing, Churchill Downs suspends Bob Baffert for 2 years. Baffert suspended after a second test confirmed that Derby winner Medina Spirit failed the drug test. And Baffert said the amount was minuscule. He doesn't get it. Any amount. And he has to be stupid or naive to think that this would get by the officials at Churchill Downs. They're not going to let that happen at that historic raceway. And I'm not sure what his comment was to accomplish. The amount was minuscule.
Well, that quote tells you where his ego is. That's what it is. And sometimes athletes automatically think it's about you. And as a owner, as a trainer, here's what he thinks. You watch him. I honestly think that he likes to be in the limelight and he likes to look at himself in the mirror. That may not be true. Right. That's why I look at him. His ego's out of control.
Well, here's what I ask George. When he says it's minuscule, my question would be, how did it get in the horse's blood system?
Obviously. Well, he started with the lie that a guy spit in the hay and the horse ate the hay. Then he realized that was too ridiculous, so he came up with another one. The point is, how do you think this owner feels that has to give the $1.8 million back? Don't forget, the bettors got paid.
Well, he has to give it back to
Churchill. He didn't win it.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, Baffert should never race
Second
Churchill
place
Downs
yeah.
again.
Well,
never. He shouldn't race there.
He picked a bad race to cheat.
That's what I'm saying.
The Kentucky Derby.
It's stupid to think that he can get away with that.
It's the race of all races.
But listen, this is the other thing. A lot of these consortiums own many tracks. He has 160 horses at Santa Anita alone.
Wow.
Man, he should win.
It should, right. National Hockey League defending Stanley Cup champs are at it again. Tampa Bay leads Carolina 3-1 in the second round series with a 6-4 win. Kucherov, he's still strong, and Steven Stamkos, they had 2 goals each. And the Islanders, they take a 3-2 series lead over Boston with a 5-4 win. The Islanders are good. This was no fluke that they beat the Pens.
Yeah, I talked about George on the way up. They did not play well during the regular season. They were good, but they were made for the playoffs. And sometimes that's what you do as a coach and general manager. You look down the crystal ball and say, how do we beat the Penguins? How do we beat Boston? And they beat it with physical play and defensive-minded play. That's the way they play.
I look for Tampa to repeat, just the way they're playing. They're strong.
I like the team coming out of the West.
Yeah.
I like Vegas or Colorado. I like Vegas. I've liked Vegas all along, but we'll see what happens.
And we want to note with passing, Rennie Stennett, former Pirate at age 72, always that record, 7 for 7 in that game against the Cubs. And 1974 Cy Young Award reliever Mike Marshall with a record 106 appearances in 74. I was interesting to find out that Marshall also obtained his doctorate in kinesiology from Michigan State. He was 78.
He used that in his pitching, learning to throw the screwball and figuring out how to use his arm. It was interesting.
106 appearances in one season.
He'd be good today.
He'd be good.
They love him.
Analytics.
He'd have to make about 35 or 40 million
Yes.
today. Hey, thanks for joining us. We've run out of time. We will see you next week.